Well, it looks like Wayne's Ward got himself another figure. Here's a look at the brand new McFarlane toys, The New Adventures of Batman Robin. A playboy billionaire by day, Bruce Wayne's double life affords him the comfort of a life without financial worry. A loyal butler turned guardian and the perfect base of operations in the ancient network of capes beneath the family's sprawling estate. By night, however, he sheds all pretense, dons the iconic scalped cape and pointed cowl, and takes the shadowy streets, skies, and rooftops of Gotham City. Incredibly detailed 6-inch scale retro-style figures based on the New Adventures of Batman, designed with articulation with up to 12 moving parts for retro play. How about before the boy wonder starts every sentence with holy, let's grab the tape measure and see how tall the figure stands. I'd like to as well thank the folks over at McFarlane Toys that did provide the sample of the New Adventures Batman, the Boy Wonder Robin, that we could have a look at in this review. The figure's obviously going to be shorter than Batman, but just how much shorter? The figure's only about 5¼ inches in height, or it's going to be about 13 centimeters tall. Just like the Batman from before, they are using still the 66 series body builds. So while the Robin is going to be sporting a brand new head sculpt, the rest of the body, at least from the neck down, is using the same body as the Burt Ward Robin. Another variation of the Robin that we did get from the 60s series. Here's what he looks like with the breathing mask. And freeing up, of course, space over here. Let's bring in the figures that we've looked at so far from the New Adventures of Batman. First, we had a look at Batman, obviously. Then we'd followed things up with the Clown Prince of Crime, the Joker. Something, though, he shares with Batman is the fact that both figures come included with the exact same accessories. I'm not really sure why they had to include the same ones if we already got the same ones literally from the Cape Crusader. I'm going to bring in Batman's Batarang so you can see the differences. Yes, unfortunately with the rubbery plastic that they ended up using, the bottoms of the Batarang curl a bit, but you can see that they are using the exact same Batarang. I mean, it almost in a way looks like Robin's is just a tad bit lighter, but I'm sure that's just more my eyes playing tricks on me. He also features the exact same Bat radio. Just grabbing the one that we got here with Batman, you can see, yep, exactly the same. I mean, you could, again, be a stickler to paint details and say that maybe the one that we got from Batman is slightly brighter, but at the end of the day, yes, they are using the same Bat radio. Funny enough, though, that the figure only comes included with one gripping hand. This seemed to be a problem that was plaguing Batman. It also plagues, as well, Robin. Be fair, though, the one Robin that we did get from before happened to be then used again for the oxygen or breathing mask, breathing tank Robin. So, of course, that figure was already only using one gripping hand anyways, and they simply have just rinsed and repeated the body completely over. Batman was a different thing because, of course, when we had the breathing mask Batman, he had two gripping hands. It wasn't the case here at all with Robin. So you have to be kind of choosy as to which one you want to have displayed in the figure's hand, either the Batarang or the Bat radio. Either way, it just fits into his hand, and again, you've got the articulation there. I mean, the limited articulation is always something that we pointed out when it comes to these figures. I mean, yes, while he does have it here in the shoulders, certainly in the elbows and the wrists, he lacks, always sorely lacking, the unfortunate end of having no articulation at the tops of the thighs. The figure, and again, is only going to have a straight swivel. One correction I did want to make from an earlier review when we had a look, I think, was it the Batman? I mentioned, though, that it had recently just gotten itself a Blu-ray release. That was actually the New Adventures of Batman and Robin, the Boy Wonder, not to be confused with the New Adventures of Batman. They had to tack a little something on the end of that. The original 60s series was kind of more to be a continuation here from what we were going to be getting from the cartoon. I think for what we get for Robin here, it's a nice representation of him. Again, it's using still the same body, but I gotta say, like, the colors are so nicely handled here. Robin might have, from what at least I've seen so far, some of the best colors on the figure. So instead of actually having kind of more of that tomato red, what he has instead is a very bright, almost bright pinkish red tunic. Tunic? Is it a tunic? You can see as well, like, while the original Robin would have had the painted in a little laces there that he has on the front of his shirt, this Robin, like the cartoon, only paints it or keeps it to the same coloring as the rest of his shirt. He has then now a kind of a teal colored sleeve here on the tops, at least of his shoulders, and he also has the same teal color here for his gloves. The teal color, if you weren't already tired of it, also makes its way down below to his lower trunks and also down below here on his elf shoes. There's nothing at all different here from the original Burt Ward 60s Robin, complete as well with the cape. The cape looks to be identical other than the fact that the colors of the yellow are much darker versus the more lighter lemon yellow that came included with or was attached onto the top here of the original Robin. Same bodies. The only thing, again, that's different is the color scheme and the brand new head sculpt. It is one of the nicest looking heads that I've seen so far. One thing it does have that unfortunately Batman didn't have was he actually does have some semblance of a smile. I wish Batman would have had something similar. You can see the two side by side. Batman's going to be obviously a little bit bigger than these. One of the downsides, unfortunately, is the fact of them using the 66 bodies. Is that I think it works okay with Robin. Batman, fairly enough, should have really been a bigger build. He should have been a little bit wider in the shoulders. He certainly is a little more muscular than the Adam West Batman that would have been from the 60s series. Robin pulls it off a little bit better because, of course, he's a smaller, younger Ward to Batman. He can get away with using basically the same body as the Burt Ward figure from before. Now, for the figure's articulation, head sculpt's going to be on a ball joint once again, so the head does rotate all the way around. When it comes to looking down and up, I mean, that's as much as you're really going to be able to get. If you blinked and thought that you may have missed the articulation, yeah, that's all you're really going to be able to get. More so just the fact that you can rotate it all the way around. As for his arms, they come out way beyond the point of 90 degrees. Batman was also the same as well. You can take those arms, yes, rotate them all the way around. Although I will say, rotating his arms around, they get really tight quarters right around this section here. Probably just because of the fact it's rubbing up against the top of his tunic. Had a tough time coming up with that word. He has no articulation here for the bicep. What he does have, however, is a hinge in his elbow that allows at least the forearm as well not to rotate as well very easily, but it does have a little bit of wiggle. You can also as well rotate his glove all the way around, and you can rotate his hand all the way around as well. He has no waist articulation. Well, he has a little bit of a waist articulation, but that's as much as you're really going to be able to get to it. Unless it's just super tight. That might just be the case. It just might be a little bit super tight on mine. The figure does have legs that move forward and back. No splits, unfortunately, this time around. Figure does have only just a single hinge in the knee. Has a little bit of a swivel back and forth for the lower leg, and he has no real articulation here for the lower for his boots. That's really all you're going to be getting for it. Figure does have still, once again, peg holes in the undersides of his feet, even though none of this line really has come included with display stands. It's not part of the territory. Why is this guy having a harder time to stand? There we go. While, yes, display stands aren't really part of the territory, you could always, of course, use yourself a display stand. It comes included with one of the many other McFarlane lines that he's doing, whether it be the Spawn, whether it be like the DC Multiverse line, even the Mortal Kombat. You could use any one of those display stands. Wrapping things up, of course, bringing back in the Burt Ward Robin from the 60s series and bringing back in Batman. You know, again, I like the line. I mean, some would say that it maybe isn't the best bodies to be using for these figures because in the cartoon, it translates to much more muscular Batman. I see that. I mean, obviously, Batman was a lot more muscular when he is in the cartoon. He doesn't have maybe the build, for example, that Adam West would have had in the live-action series. Robin pulls it off, I think, a little bit better because, of course, he already has the body of a boy. And I think it translates okay by still using the same body that we got from the original TV series Robin. It might be one of my favorite figures we've gotten. Now, obviously, I am still a big fan of the Batman. I'm loving the look of the Joker. But I will say, though, that using the bodies doesn't suffer at all this time around when we get it from one Robin to the next. The 1977 New Adventures of Batman had the chance to bring back beloved actors Adam West and Burt Ward to reprise their roles again of Batman and Robin. Although with the time that's elapsed of, say 11 or so years from the live-action series, they didn't have to worry so much about getting back into shape to stretch back in their bat suits. They did rather instead all the voice work inside the sound studio instead. Now, I don't know if it was in the review of Batman. It may have very well been Joker that I did also mention Batman with Robin the Boy Wonder, an animated series that has just recently got itself a Blu-ray release. Funny enough, though, that series predates the one we're talking about here by about 10 years. It came out in 1968. It was paired along with the Batman Superman Hour before finally being its own solo series in 1969. Instead of having Adam West and Burt Ward, the original voice actors were Alan Soule playing Batman and Casey Kasem playing Robin. Funny enough, though, those two actors would then go on to do other guest appearances as Batman and Robin. One such appearance was also in the Celebrity Movie Hour with Scooby-Doo, where Casey Kasem not only played the voice of Robin, but also played a very similar voice with another character from that series. That's right, Shaggy. When it goes certainly to the figure, though, I like that they have used, again, the same Burt Ward body. Funny enough, though, that it's using the same bodies as the actors that would play those roles. I think it actually translates a little bit better here with Robin than it did for Batman. Batman, you have to suspend some disbelief by Batman's a lot more muscular, honestly, in the cartoon series. He doesn't look as muscular when you're using really the Adam West body, but this one translates a little bit better. It looks more like Robin from the cartoon, and it certainly has one fantastic head sculpt with a big smile on his face, something that I do wish that Batman would have had in the first place. What do you guys think of Robin? Let me know down below in the comments section. If you are also old enough like myself to remember those original animated series of Batman and Robin, which voice actor do you prefer for your Robin? Is it Burt Ward from the 70s series, or do you prefer rather Casey Kasem from the 60s Batman cartoon series? Let me know your comments down below in the comment section. Once again, a big thank you to the folks over at McFarlane Toys that did provide this sample of the New Adventures of Batman and Robin that we had the chance to have a look at in this review. Anybody that's taken a tally right now will already know we've looked at Batman, we've looked at Joker, and now we've looked at Robin. Still got to look at Commissioner Gordon. He's going to come include with Batmite. We're also going to be looking at the pink-clad Riddler. That's not going to make much sense right now, but it'll make more sense when we look at him in his own review. And we're also going to be looking at not one, but two different variations of Batgirl, courtesy, again, at the folks of McFarlane Toys. If you don't want to miss out on any of the stuff that's coming your way, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. It's very important. And make sure as well you're turning on the bell notification. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.